Peace. Okay, so now this is the next video. And what I just spoke about in the video before this was knowledge in 120 and how people tend to look at the lessons in a one-dimensional way and how it's important to look at the lessons one-dimensionally initially, but you also have to elevate and begin to look at the lessons as far as two-dimensionally. So when you're looking at the lessons from a two-dimensional perspective, you begin to not just look at the length or the width, but you also begin to look at the height, or you begin to see how this information and the wisdom in the lessons or the experiences that you've been looking at in regards to different events that happen historically or the measurements of the planet, you begin to get more of a bird's eye view, or you begin to elevate your consciousness and look at things from more of a wider, broader perspective. So as you look at the length and you begin to see the connections between the past, the present, and the future, you begin to elevate your consciousness and have more of a broader view of why these lessons were actually given. Now that's on the positive side. It's important to elevate your consciousness and to be able to rise above a lot of the things that you may see just on a horizontal plane. But on the negative side, you may have people who begin to elevate their consciousness and not just looking at things from a bird's eye view or a broader perspective. They tend to think that they are more elite. They're above everybody else, or they're better. So now you have people who, instead of looking at the positive aspect of the wisdom or the experiences that they learn from the lessons, they begin to develop a hierarchical mindset. The same type of religious hierarchy that they may have came from when they were in the church or the mosque or the synagogue. They begin to set up the same exact structure when it comes to dealing with the lessons. So these are people that you see that's going around constantly talking about their fruit, which implies they're above them. They're constantly talking about their students, which implies that they are the teacher or they're above them. And these are people who tend to set up a hierarchical structure where they're above the people that they're just giving this information to or that they're teaching. And it could come across very egocentric. It could come off very religiously, because when you look at length or width and then you add height to it, it can become very religious the way that some people approach these lessons. Now, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, it's important to be able to make the connection between the horizontal plane and the perpendicular plane, or being able to see the length or the width of 120 in regards to its relationship to your height or your growth and development. That's very important. But at the same time, two dimensions also lack depth. And that's what I meant by those people who begin to approach the lessons as it's some form of something to make them better or above or more elite than everybody else. They tend to lack, they also have a level of superficiality with them, because they also lack depth. Because anytime you're still setting up the same type of hierarchical structure, like you're above or you're the leader and you can't take a back seat, or that everybody's beneath or underneath you and they're your fruit and they're your students, and you're always having that kind of conversation, that still shows that you lack a sense of depth of why these lessons were even given to us in the first place. So that's looking at 120 in two dimensions. That's the positive side as far as elevating our consciousness and beginning to see in a broader perspective, or a bird's eye view. But on the negative side, people can tend to become very egocentric and hierarchy, a structure established, and that's the second aspect of 120. Now I'm going to go into the third aspect of 120 in the next video. Peace.